Yo, what up guys, how you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome today to a new episode of the FIFA 19 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. So in today's episode 169, we will be carrying on in the weekend league, trying to get some more wins under our belts. It's a new day from when I was recording the first batch of games. This is literally recorded and played on Sunday, and I wanted to see how this team could actually perform when I wasn't like stupid, crazy, horribly tired. And we didn't start great. We started at 3-1, so I mean it could have been worse, but we won our first 3 games and then lost a very, very silly one where I probably should have stopped playing, but hey, you know, you live, you learn. You go on into our next game, or our first game of the day, and we come up against a full Brazilian side, some quite nice players there, but really, my squad, much stronger than this in terms of like meta ability in-game. I should be alright in this one. And guys, if you do enjoy today's episode, do me a massive favour. Hit that thumbs up button. You know it by now. Let's try and aim towards 2,000 likes. I would greatly appreciate that. So I got the first sort of opportunity, and then I got struck out of nowhere. It was a heavily deflected shot, but it was an El Tornado volley nonetheless. As I was literally sitting on Discord talking to my mates, and they were saying how easy volleys are now, I literally went and conceded that. So that wasn't good. And then I actually sort of get sloppy again and let this opponent score a second goal with his Neymar. Neymar is a problem for me. He was always so good, and he was always like my best player on the road to glory when I had him. But now, whenever I come up against him, I still really find him to be problematic. As he scores his hat-trick goal there, 47 minutes in, this game was somewhat even, yet I had scored nothing and my opponent had scored 3. So I'm obviously sloppy on this game right now and a little bit sort of just rusty, not used to it. Obviously I haven't played a huge amount of FIFA in the last week, but I'll go through weeks where that happens and I'm still normally alright. So I don't know really what was to blame, but I got 1 goal back and then moved my goalkeeper incorrectly and he scores a 4th with Neymar. So I was like, well, it's no coincidence that he's gone ahead and scored that many, but I really should have nailed it and scored a few more goals myself. And I'm getting some pretty good opportunities here and I'm just not putting them into the back of the net. Got to sort that problem out. Also, currently dealing with the main issue, which is probably the big topic for this video, which is how and where to play those players in my squad. So I actually did go ahead and do a tweet, and we'll get to it later on in the video, about which one of the 3 fullbacks that I've got should play as the DM, the defensive midfielder in the 4-2-3-1, and which of the other 2 should then play as left back and right back. So that was basically how we started off this episode, with me tweeting it out, and we'll get to the tweet as I come to it later in this video. But for the first few matches of this weekend, I went with just what my current default was, which was to play with Aurier as the CDM, because Cancelo is more of a natural right back, I think, and I really like him at right back, and people were saying that Aurier is a bit of a monster in the defensive midfield spot, and then obviously Alonso being left-footed, it makes me want to drag him to that left back spot and play him in his natural spot. But that's not necessarily what Twitter thought, so it's interesting, and we'll change the formation, not change the formation, but we'll change the lineup a little bit as this episode goes on. Try a few different things, because I gave you guys on Twitter like 3 options. It was play Cancelo as DM, play Alonso as DM, play Aurier as DM, and in some of the replies I actually got a different sort of selection as to what I should do with my players, and that will come in probably the next game that we play after this one right here. So it's 1-1 at half time, really similar game. This guy was pretty good on possession though against me, but chances wise they were going either way. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but I've literally lost 2 on the trot, right? So I lost the last game of the last episode, and then I lost the first game of this episode. Not how you want to start your day on Foot Champs. And then I go 2-1 down. That Ibarbo just come on, and that was his first touch to score a header against, well, into pretty much an open net. So it was going to be tough to get back into this one, but there was still time. And we left it with sort of 16, 17 minutes on the clock when I get my equaliser there with Arnautovic. A nice volley into the back of the net. Nedved managed to get past a couple of players here. Nice pass inside, and Ronaldo slots it home. I could have hit a low driven with Nedved there, but I wasn't sure if it would get blocked or saved, whereas the more sure thing to do was obviously to sweat it across, do that smart pass into Ronaldo, and that actually turned out to get me the winning goal. So in a game where it looks as though I was probably slightly on the back foot towards from what my opponent was, I come away with a win. So what Twitter told me to do was this, is to play Alonso as a centre-back, David Luiz as a CDM, Aurier right back, Cancelo left back. And that's what a lot of replies said on Twitter. So I thought, you know what? I'll try it. I'll give it a go. In my head, I was like, well, Alonso's not really a centre-back. I get with his height and stuff that he could play there. David Luiz, I don't know if he's got the stamina to be a defensive midfielder. But again, I'll try it out, see how it goes. And we go into this match right here. Guy's got quite a nice team. It took me 20-odd minutes to get that first opportunity. And I took it nicely with Ronaldo there. Basically gifted a goal. By the time that I'd run past his Sol Campbell, I was obviously going to net that one, and he basically just passed it to me straight from a free kick. But kind of instantly, probably from the kickoff, he was able to get a goal back with Aubameyang, and I'm just like, wow, how on earth have I just conceded straight away? I need to wake up. And then I gift him the ball again, and he scores. He scored in the 25th minute, I think it was. And then he goes on to score multiple more goals here. It's only the 32nd now. 7 minutes ago, I was 1-0 up. And now I'm 3-1 down. And then it gets worse, because in the 35th, 36th minute, he scores again to make it 4-1. 10 or 11 FIFA minutes had gone by, and I have conceded 4 goals. So there's just like, I'm obviously falling asleep or something. Something's going on. It's not right. I need to wake up to these counter-attacks and stuff and score the shots that I get. I mean, granted, I had done in this game because I had one shot in the entire first half. I scored it. But in the second half, it was a different story. I really did try and bring it to this guy, and I got 1 goal back in the 72nd minute or something with Ronaldo, but there wasn't much more. In the end, again, it looked like such an even match to the point where the score should be a lot more even, but my opponent was far more clinical than I was. So yeah, I lost the game. I didn't like David Luiz as a CDM, didn't like Alonso as a centre-back, and I know the vote was still going at this point in time, but it seemed clear that you guys think Alonso should be the CDM. So that's what I'm going to change the team to right now. Cancelo will be my left-back. He's got 4-star skills, so he's got a little bit more about him to get out of a situation where I would prefer a left-footed left-back is what I'm trying to get to, but I think Cancelo can deal with that a little bit better than Aurier, who will play right back for me, just because he's 3-star, whereas Cancelo is actually 4-star skills and 3-star weak foot. It's not perfect, but I think it could work. And then I'll bring on Alonso, or Alonso will play as a CDM for me, and hopefully that'll work out for us. Now, I go 1-0 up in this match. If all of a sudden just felt a lot more solid, it may be that this opponent just wasn't as good as the ones I'd been playing. But I go 1-0 up with the header. Ronaldo gets through here, smashes it, and it comes off the bar. Unlucky to not go 2-0 up, I would say. But Aubameyang picks the ball up here, nicely turns back, whips it in. It somehow so luckily falls for Arnautovic there when I tried to head it, and it just sort of bounced up in the air, ready for a volley. He strikes it home, and that's enough for my opponent after 34 minutes, was to actually quit the game. And I'm like, wow, okay, 4-3-3-4, that's a formation that I always struggle against. Not quite sure how I've ended up making him quit there, but I guess looking at the stats, I'd had 10 shots, 5 on target. I was kind of battering him, and fair enough. There's games where I'll quit at 2-0 as well. I feel if you just feel like you're not going to win. So we go into the next game. Red 95 Ronaldo. How jealous am I of this guy? The rest of his team's pretty colourful as well. Got lots of different card types in there, and a prime icon Nesta as well. It's genuinely a nice team. I reckon he's done a few SBCs to get some of those players, and he's come away with a nice red Ronaldo as well. So I bet he was buzzing at the time when he got that. Torreira plays it into Nedved. Nedved just backheels it to Ronaldo, and on the turn I hit like a low driven, but because it's on the turn it sort of P-rolls and it goes past the goalkeeper somehow, but I go 1-0 up from that. Felipe Anderson plays it to Nainggolan, out to Tellez, who plays it straight into the box, and that forces a great save from Cech. Fortunately, his player hit it straight at me rather than, you know, in a corner where it would 100% would have gone in. But he plays it through to Ronaldo here, and obviously the sweat was on. I for a minute thought it was offside because it was like a forward pass, but that doesn't matter. It just means that obviously Mertens was onside, and you know, I do understand the offside rule. We somehow get very lucky to get that goal to put us in the lead. Because, to be fair, I think my opponent moved his goalkeeper in a decent way, so the correct way, and got the block, got the save, but actually it just had enough power behind it that it still went in the back of the net. So we're 2-1 up. Militao plays it into Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who just turns the defender nicely. La Croqueta somehow gets it back again, plays it to Ronaldo. It's just a bit dodgy, but from the resulting throw, we win the first bounce, we win the ball, play it into Ibra, knock it out to Nedved, gets blocked, Ibra wins it back, Ibra plays it to Nedved, turn that defender well, strike the ball, it gets saved, and I get an opportunity rebounded into the back of the net in the end by Nesta. So lucky with the last couple of goals that I'd scored. Then no wonder my opponent quit there. I think he was like, what the hell's going on with this guy's luck? And I felt the luck as well at that point. I know sometimes it goes against you, but you have to be willing to open up in a minute when it's going for you. And that takes us up to 6 wins. So with that, we earned the Latin America kit, which looks quite nice. I think it would clash a little bit with the Northern Lights, so I'm not going to put it on. But we'll go into another match here, and we come up against a full Brazil side, apart from a UCL Leroy Sane. He's also got a baby Roberto Carlos. So if he had a full Brazil team beforehand and then did the baby icon SBC, I bet it was quite buzzing to see a Brazilian pop up, albeit the worst one that you could get, no doubt. But, you know, it could have been Pele, I guess. It just wasn't. But we get through with a La Croqueta, and the goalkeeper sort of moves, so I just smash it near post with Ronaldo. That just felt super easy, so I'll take the 1-0, 4 minutes in. It just felt like this one was, team difference aside, I felt like I was just going to win this one no matter what. I needed a strong performance. I need to get into FIFA and really, you know, start to annihilate my opponents so that I can actually get through a bunch of these games. Because I'd left 11 wins for Sunday, which is more than I would ever leave. But obviously it was just a timing thing. I couldn't get more done on the Saturday, and I wasn't at home to play on the Friday or the Saturday morning. But a 2-0 in this one, 16 minutes in. I think my opponent decides to go as well, but I had completely and utterly dominated in that game, so it wasn't a shock really to see that happen. So that's quite a few little rage quits there, and we're starting to make our way through this weekend league, halfway through at this point, and we are 14 and 3? No, it's not 14 and 3, sorry. 7 and 3, 7 and 4. I don't know. I can't remember what we are, but we got 7 wins nonetheless. And you can see the goal to game ratios for my players right here. Ronaldo, 122 goals, 58 assists in 87 games, I think that was. And then 8 contributions in 10 for Nedved. Overall, I would sort of say that I'm not absolutely loving him right now, but I wasn't absolutely loving Zola. But I reckon I'm a little bit disappointed at this point in time. 10 games played on his record now, all online, all in champs, and I'm just thinking, I'm wondering. But then again, what I was using before, I don't think my central cam gets a whole lot of action now because I play it out wide and get the headers and stuff. So I don't want to judge it too much. I still think we did the right thing. Albeit Nedved's cheaper now than he was when I went away, so we probably could have done it for cheaper. But yeah, it's a weird one at the moment. I'm not loving him, but I'm not hating him. He's still getting a fair amount of contributions and stuff, but I wonder how it will go throughout the rest of the weekend league. Guys, that is going to wrap things up for today's episode. Do me a massive favour, hit that thumbs up button if you're feeling generous. Support the channel, support the videos, and I'm very appreciative of that. Don't forget to subscribe. Come follow me on Insta and Twitter. Those links can be found down below in the description. Have a lovely day, everyone, and I will catch you next time. Peace.